Do you think credit card debt should be something to worry about as a teenager?
It's something definitely to consider, but not to worry about, not to stress over. But obviously make sure that you are aware that it can easily turn into debt, especially when you're in college.
As a teenager, yes.
As a teenager, you should be aware of it, yeah. I don't want worrying about it. Hopefully you're not really using a credit card.
Yes, if you have a credit card, yes. It can get out of hand.
Absolutely. If I've known a lot of people who've gotten themselves into trouble with credit card debt. If you don't understand how those work and how interest rates work, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble that hurts you for a long period of time because it can really damage your credit score if you don't keep up on your credit.
How old were you when you first got a credit card?
I was 18.
22, 23.
I was 16 when I got my first credit card. My parents signed jointly on it, and then we worked out together. Basically, that's how they taught me how to use credit responsibly. Is they gave me access to one, and then we had discussions and a lot of controls about how it was used.
Old enough to know better. I'm gonna say early 20s.
I was a junior in college, so San Diego State, Citibank had a deal back then that they would get you a credit card if you're a student for a couple of years. So that was my first credit card. So however old I was, 20 years old or so. Yeah.
What do you use your credit card for?
When I was in college, I used it a lot for groceries and gas and the everyday life, which easily built up in debt. Now, I don't use them as much. I'm trying to pay them off. But yeah, it was usually for like the everyday necessities.
Everything.
Purchases, for the most part. I budget how much to spend on certain purchases, and then I buy the credit card because I use it for some points as well, or rebates.
Buying items, you know.
Large purchases to get like my personal one. I have an Alaska Air one, so I use it to get miles. But mostly I use a debit card for all day-to-day purchases.
What's the main thing teenagers should worry about as soon as we get our first credit card?
Not to think it's like free money, because it's not. Interest is really high. Because you're gonna see like, oh, I got approved for like $500. It's not like a shopping spree or anything like that. It's more of it's if you need it, use it, but make sure you have enough money to pay for it.
Well, I would look at how much interest you have to pay. Okay, that's very important. If it's too high, I wouldn't go through with it, because you end up paying interest on top of what you owe, and that could be, pretty bad at one point. You may become behind on your payments. And another thing I would recommend, if you do have a credit card, you must pay every month that they tell you to pay. Because if you forget to pay, they're going to add on more interest on top of late fees. So I wouldn't advise that.
Okay.
So you need to keep up on your payments if you're going to get a credit card.
Not being able to pay off your credit card.
How are you going to pay it? The rule of thumb, the best practice is to pay it off at the end of the month. And if you can't afford to pay at the end of the month, then you shouldn't have a credit card.
To make sure you pay it off every month. That's my advice. Otherwise, you get into a heap of trouble.
When it comes to credit, you're most likely doing it wrong, because 1 in 4 Americans experiences credit trouble, and less than half of 1% achieves a perfect credit score. It all comes down to bad information. You've been told there are only 2 ways to use credit. Either use a credit card to buy more than you can really afford, or hide it away in your wallet, using it only for emergencies. The result? You either get burned by debt, or you leave a weak financial footprint and miss out on the advantages of credit. Well, good news. There's a 3rd way. Here's how to use your card responsibly and build a good credit history. Set up small automated payments. A subscription or a monthly bill is a good small expense that's easy to manage. Use credit instead of cash once a day. Buying a cup of coffee or dinner for 2? Put it on credit, then pay it off in cash. use credit for online shopping. It offers fraud protection and keeps hackers away from your bank account. Pay your balance in full every month. Every last cent. This is the key to building good credit and keeping your fees low. Practice these simple habits to make smarter use of your credit card.